How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have yet another community questions video for you guys, so hopefully you all enjoy. For today's video, I put a question on my community section on YouTube and you guys leave comments, and then we look through those comments and we basically have a read through them and give some extra thought on them as well. But anyway, the question that I put up there this time was, what are some uncommon tips and tricks that people likely wouldn't know? So this should be quite an interesting one, and in the comments down below, let me know how many of these did you know, how many didn't you know. So I'll be quite interested to see how uncommon these were. I'll let you guys know at the end of the video as well how many I didn't know, because there's probably going to be quite a lot of these, let's be completely honest. But anyway, if you enjoy the video, do leave a like on it, do subscribe to the channel if you are new, and other than that, let's take a look at these comments. Final heads up, my voice is still pretty off, so if I do sound a little bit sick, that's because I'm a little bit sick, but it's not going to stop me from making videos, so let's go. Alright, so the first one says, equipping a wand at the start of a Rax encounter will spawn him in melee style. Then you can switch to ranged on melee. Very handy for the boosted Fang drop rate without having to mage it. So for those of you that aren't aware, Araxor drops the Fang, the Eye, and the Web. Now, these are all hilts for the weapons that you can make for the Noxious weapons, and the Fang is the one that's like super expensive. I think the Eye and the Web aren't that really good as upgrades, and to be honest, they're probably just worth disassembling for Noxious components, but the Fang is a hell of a lot of money if you could just add it to a spider leg and sell it as a scythe. The way Araxor works is, if you make an instance, or if you have an Araxite pheromone, he will automatically spawn in the style that you are best against. So if you go in with range, then he will spawn as a magic Araxor, so you can have the best sort of fighting chance against him. If you go in with melee, then he will spawn as range. If you go in with magic, he will spawn as melee. The reason this is important is because you will have a higher drop rate of the Fang if you are fighting a melee Araxor. And then of course, if you're fighting a range Araxor, you have a higher chance of getting a web, and then the same goes for the magic one, higher chance of getting the eye. You can still get the other items while fighting the other styles, but fighting a melee Araxor just gives you a better chance of getting a Fang. So a lot of people, what they tend to do is they'll take a wand with them as they go into the arena, and then he will spawn as a melee Araxor, but then they'll just use melee gear anyway. Using range on the melee Araxor probably wouldn't be the nicest experience, but using melee with trim masterwork would probably be a lot easier than using it with magic, because that extra damage that the melee Araxor does do with the bleed and stuff is definitely something that will probably be a bit easier to use trim masterwork with, as it does hurt a little bit while using magic as well. But anyway, this is something that you can definitely do. It is super helpful, and I know quite a few people that do this. So hey, if you do Araxor quite a lot, but you didn't know this, then maybe you can start using this as well, and hopefully you do get some fangs. Our next comment says, Passage of the Abyss and Dave's Spellbook exist. People who never do clues may never be able to appreciate just how useful both of these are, even if only for quests or getting around in general. You also say, if you choose this comment, I'll let you elaborate on what they do, as not to have a page-long comment. Okay, good. I better get my wiki out, because I actually don't have a clue what these are, so let's have a quick wiki search. Alright, cool. These are actually really cool, so thank you for this comment. The Passage of the Abyss is like a pocket slot item that you can make at 118 invention with an alchemical onyx and 50 magic parts and a teleportation compactor. Now what it does is basically you can put jewelry in it, teleport jewelry, so like a glory amulet or a ring of dueling, games necklace, all that sort of stuff. You can put this in the actual pocket slot item and it can store them all for you. So you can basically have all of your jewelry teleports in one place, so you don't have to like fill your inventory full of like necklaces and rings and bracelets, all that sort of stuff. You can literally just take this with you and you can use this. That's freaking awesome. Obviously that's a pretty high requirement to have it, 118 invention, and it seems not the cheapest to make, but this seems like a really useful item to have if you do a lot of clue scrolls and a lot of teleporting around and stuff. So that's pretty awesome to have, to be honest. The Dave Spellbook is another thing that's fairly similar, but what it does is it alters teleport tabs. So you can get this from Evil Dave after completing Evil Dave's Big Day Out, and you can use it to chip tablets. So when you make teleportation tablets, for example, a Varrock tablet will teleport you to the Varrock Square. Usually it will teleport you there, but you can chip the tablet and it will take you to the Varrock Museum. So it just changes slightly the location where teleport tablets take you, and I assume that would be pretty useful for clue scrolls and stuff as well. So this is really cool. I had no idea about these two things, so thank you very much for sharing this. Did anyone else know about this? Like, I bet there's a lot of people in the comments. Let me know. I'm sure there's probably plenty of you guys that didn't actually know what this was. I'm surprised. This is really cool. Alright, moving on to our next comment. This one says, one I've recently just noticed, you can now keybind each familiar action instead of selecting one option from the settings. Just drag the specific action from the familiar window to your action bar. So it used to be in the past that you could only have one sort of keybind set to the familiar icon, and you could drag that down, and then you could change that whether it was like take from beast of burden or use special attack move, all that sort of stuff. and it was a little bit clunky, I suppose. But now you can actually drag from the familiars window and just keybind those things straight away. So for example, you could take the renew familiar icon and you could put that on your action bar. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. You can drag the dismiss familiar icon, you can drag the call familiar icon, all of them basically, the special attacks one, everything. You can drag them all, put them straight on an action bar onto a keybind, and you could probably set yourself up like a little pet action bar sort of thing, I suppose. But these are things you can definitely do, and they're probably going to be helpful for some things. Like for example, I would actually be quite tempted now to keybind the call familiar option, because I always have to click this when we're at like places like Raksha and the familiar gets stuck, or at Ambassador when it just decides to stop attacking on the spinners. I always have to call familiar, and it can be a little bit awkward having to go back into that and click on that when I'm trying to do other stuff as well. So having it keybind would be quite useful. So that's pretty awesome. I actually knew you could do this, but it didn't even cross my mind that it could be useful. So thank you very much. Okay, so the next comment says, when you're starting to set goals, don't always set incredibly difficult or time-consuming ones at first, or have smaller goals set along the way to avoid burnout. This is a really good tip actually, because honestly a lot of people do get burnt out quite quickly in this game because they set the goal of, I'm going to max my account, and that takes a long time to do. That takes a hell of a long time to do. So it is quite common that people that do that do get burnt out pretty damn quick. So what I would suggest you do, like exactly what this person suggested as well, is set smaller goals along the way as well. So I always try to say to people, have one big sort of late end game goal that you want to go towards, whether that's getting into PVM and being good at it, and then between that you would have the goal of getting my magic gear, getting my range gear, completing the world's wait quest for my death swiftness and my sunshine, getting desert treasure done for ancients, and then getting the temple at Sentistan done so you can get your curses as well. Like all these little goals along the way, every time you achieve them you feel like you've accomplished something, because that's what you were set out to do in the first place. If those are just all little things that are in your way to get into max, then they don't feel as rewarding. So if you set yourself a goal to go ahead and get curses, when you get curses you're going to be like, yes, that was so good. But if your goal is just max, nothing else, but curses are in the way of that, then when you do those, they're just going to seem like a freaking wall, a barrier. Oh, I've got to do this stupid quest, it's just not good, I just can't be bothered with it, and yeah, I get curses at the end of it, but whatever, I just want to max my account. You know, like exactly that. Like you set the goals, achieve those smaller goals earlier on, and it will definitely help with not getting burnt out. So this is a great tip, and hopefully for some of you guys that may be like that person that just sets the one big end game goal, maybe you should just set a few smaller ones when you achieve them, see if it helps, see if it makes you feel a little bit better. Our next comment comes from Salty Llama himself. You say, if you complete the Yanil area tasks, you can change the watchtower teleport to the center of Yanil and not the top of the tower, allowing for faster, hard clue steps. Cool, this is a nice easy one to cover. So basically, if you complete the area task, which is the achievements and stuff, then you can actually just change the teleport location. This is going to be super fast, super helpful for doing clues and stuff. I'm really not the biggest sort of like clue hunter in the entire game. I think I've done around about like, I don't know, 6. So, I mean, it's definitely not my strong point, but I can still imagine that being able to teleport to the center of Yanil and not actually to the watchtower itself, it would be pretty damn useful. So for any of you aspiring clue hunters, this could be some of the area tasks that you want to get done. I did just double check this, and it is the Ardone hard tasks that actually give this one, so it is the hard rewards that you want to get, and it's those that'll give you the teleport. The next comment says, Desert Pantheon aura can be obtained by completing 40 perfect shifting tombs, and also, while doing these, get a chance at the offhand tier 82 Kopesh, which is about 100 to 120 mil. This is pretty cool. I've always wondered about the Desert Pantheon aura. I'm not going to lie. I've never really put the time to look it up and see what it does, but I'm going to do that now. So let's have a quick check. Okay, so basically you can activate it for effects, and what the effects are is you can get one that gives you plus 10% reputation gained in Menaphos for an hour. You get one that will give your maximum life points a 20% buff, so you can get up to 1,000 extra for 1 hour, which that's pretty cool. And then the other one is additional 10% experience is gained for 1 hour. I think that's just all in general. Yeah, that's in general. You can't be used on double XP though, apparently. You can use it to increase your gathering limit by 100%, which is like your divine locations. But it does say that this doesn't stack with Viswax, so you can actually get more with Viswax, I do believe. And then the final one is the user and all nearby players gain the 10% pulse core effect. I assume this means levels as well, like you get the level boost as well. So that's kind of cool. And I think you can reuse this. Well, this is actually pretty cool. I didn't know that you could still get this aura, in all honesty. I'm not gonna lie, I actually had no idea you could still get this, but if you can do it through shifting tombs, then happy days, you can get it through that. I think personally, if I was going to get this, which I probably won't now, but I probably would have got this back in the day when I was going for max, just for that extra 10% that you can do. I know it's only 1 hour every day, but I mean, 10% extra XP for 1 hour will definitely add up over time, so I'm pretty sure that would be pretty useful. But is there any other uses that I'm missing on this? Is there something I'm misunderstanding, guys? Let me know in the comments. Are there any other great reasons to get this aura? I'm quite curious, to be honest. Alright, we'll make this next one our last one, and it says making a banking preset can save a lot of time when it comes to recharging books, repairing armor, summoning familiars, and giving them scrolls, etc. You can also use this for things like weapon poison and incense sticks. I have a banking preset very much like this, in fact, and it is actually super useful to do. So all I do is load a preset, and on that preset I'll have all of my god books and then all of the pages. I will have things like my elite tectonic repair patches and divine charges to go with it. Basically all the things you may want to use between banking at bosses, things like repairing your armor, things like putting weapon poison on. I have my weapon poison on there as well. I also have incense sticks if I want to use those before a fight. This is actually pretty similar to exactly what I've got, but I suppose I copied mine off someone, so maybe it's just more common than I thought. But it is super useful, especially if, say, you run out of book charges halfway through a boss fight. So you just load the preset, use the book pages on the book, and then it's done. And you can go straight back in by loading another preset, rather than like having to juggle your inventory, putting away food, getting your pages out, getting your book off of your worn equipment and stuff. So this is definitely something that I find quite useful. I also put things like my summoning familiars on there as well, with the scrolls, so I can just summon the familiar up, give them the scrolls, and then load the boss preset that I want. And then I've also actually got overloads and prayer renewals on here too. The reason I've got them on here is when I do Telos, I don't take an overload with me. I just use it in the bank and then run to the Telos instance. It just lets me have a little bit more inventory space for food. So that's another thing you could do as well. But especially now, since we got extra presets, then making a banking preset could be very useful for you to do. If you haven't got one, maybe give it a try if you've got a free space. Just put all of that sort of stuff on there, see if it helps you out. And if it does, then hey, that could be another preset that's saving you some time and making your life a little bit easier. Alright guys, that is going to be the last one. I hope that you guys did enjoy. I hope there was something in here that you learned, something that you didn't know about already, and I hope that if you did learn something, that the stuff you did learn was going to be useful. But anyway, if you enjoyed, do leave a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, quick mention, these community question videos, you guys really do enjoy them, and I really enjoy making them. However, it is going to get to the point soon where the ideas and the questions that I have and that I can use are running a little bit dry. So do feel free to leave in the comments any other questions you would like me to ask the community, and if there is any that are interested and work, then I will go ahead and use those, and I'll let people know that the question came from you rather than just coming from me. But anyway, thank you to my channel members. I really appreciate the extra support that you guys give, so thank you all so much. Your names will be on screen now. Anyone else that is interested in joining them, there's a join button by the subscribe button. If you want to give that a click, you can see what perks you get while you also support the channel, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.